the rest of the week here. Only a couple more weeks until we get into earnings season, so that's definitely something to look forward to. Something also to just keep in mind because I've noticed last week or so gaps have not been very impressive. So it's been, I think, prudent to wait for patterns to set up. All right, but let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 5th, 2021. SPY up, new all-time highs again here, up to up 1.4, and Qs up 2% here, looking bullish. Coming into today bullish, but I expect us to do a little bit of a pullback of some kind if we gapped up for us to get sold. We did not do that. Okay, so I was expecting coming into this week that on a move up, that we may, if we gapped up, may come in. If we gap down, probably get bought. But overall, bullish bias. But because of the extension, I thought we'd get some kind of sell. If you can see today, kind of started off bullish and then stayed that way on the Qs and the SPY here. So going into tomorrow, it's still going to be the same approach. Larger time frames are all bullish. Okay, weekly, you can see there's a weekly buy set up on the Qs. Larger time frames are all bullish. But we're extended. We're even more extended today than we were on Friday. Okay. So we're still extended. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a slight gap down tomorrow, or if we gap up again, that we get sold a bit. But the path of least resistance is still going to be higher just in the days to come, just not necessarily tomorrow. Okay, you can see on the Qs here, up, 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 right? So good time for kind of a pullback. Okay, on the Qs and SPY. So overall bullish, but tomorrow morning not going to be where we start. Longer term bullish positions. All right, let's go over the plays from today. I thought it was kind of a pretty quiet start to the day, kind of just not that interesting. The first play that we went after was the NAOV as it was transitioning out of the morning sell-off initially, and then we played it as it was breaking out. Ended up being a breakout failure, not on the bar that we got in here, but then ended up trying to break out again and getting sold. So I had to get out of that. It was nearly a full stop, got out of it a little bit early. I was worried he was going to get too wild, so I did say trail this a little bit early. Was really aiming for closer to 160 as the first target. You can see here, but it wasn't in downtrend and then got this gap up, okay, leaving all these bars behind. So it was the quality of the gap that for me warranted the aggressive entry. I just couldn't get to target. Didn't really follow through, okay, on the NAOV. Then the next play, this is actually from a room member. They noticed it first, and that was the UUUU, okay, on a breakout or 2 minute 1, 2, 3, 4. Any 1, 2, 3 is just a breakout on a smaller time frame. So on the quad U here, right in the morning, so got sold, got back up to the highs there, and then did a breakout from there. So I think maybe it was a 5 minute. So there's the 2 minute base, and then let's see if we got a 1, 2, 3 on the 5. I know this was a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there it is. There's the igniting bar, inside bar, and then the breakout there. And if you were able to stick with it hourly bar by bar there, you do get a pretty decent target. Okay, it was only about 14-cent stop. Entry is at 640, and then you can see here got to 698, so it's pretty good. You can manage it that way. It would have been a tough pullback to live through here, but it holds. Notice it comes all the way back basically to break even before making the next move. That's not uncommon. We definitely see that happen a lot. 15-minute buy setup's not too bad either there. Okay. And then the AMKR coming out of lunch. This nice pullback base, and then the breakout. Okay. This nice thing about this, and we've been talking about this the last few days, is the larger time frames here really getting past like resistance and giving you good patterns on the larger time frames, like the UTHR from last week or the CONN, right? These are where the big opportunities are. Okay, and so if we look at a lot of the gaps that we had today, a lot of them were gapping up into resistance. We went over all the gaps in the pre-market, and just over and over again, a lot of the gap ups gapping into resistance. We didn't have a lot of gap downs. If we had the MTEM in the pre-market and we're ready for it, it did set up at the open, but I didn't find it till later. So this was fine. As a high-low, that was pretty good. It has some shock value there because it's gapping underneath that pivot, underneath mostly this move up in the last couple of days. So that was pretty good, but we didn't have it in time. I was watching it for the afternoon in case I wanted to do a breakdown, and it never did. So there was no play. Okay. So, we had whatever, 100-something, I think, gaps in the pre-market. There wasn't really a lot to go after. So if you were trading with me in the morning, that wasn't trying to be too aggressive, and that there weren't a lot of gaps that made it onto the favorites list to even be watched. Okay, I expect that to be the tone the rest of the week. Okay, even into next week, even though the banks will kick things off pretty soon here in a couple weeks, I don't think things will start to get the really nice gap ups and gap downs. It's setting up, I think, right now because of the way the market is. It'll be kind of like the last earnings season, where a lot of the really shocking gap downs, the powerful gap downs, are going to be the ones that give the nice follow through, because a lot of the stuff on the daily, again, is basing up at the top here. So the gap down doesn't mean that it's going to be bearish for forever. I'm sure this is recovered, but at least on the day that it gaps down and you have a lot of these longs that are trapped, we'll get bars like that again. Okay, these we're just not really getting right now. Okay, so hopefully you're looking forward to that, but we'll be back at it tomorrow and see what the market does. Like I said, tomorrow we're overall bullish, but not a good time to be starting bullish positions. Okay, I will talk to you tomorrow.